The Galaxy S23 Ultra is finally here, and today we've got the specs, the pricing, the hands-on and the pre-order offers. So first up, for those of you wanting a Galaxy S23, the reservation page is still available where you can reserve the Galaxy S23 with no commitment to buy and get up to $100 in free Samsung credit. Now of course, the links are in the description below and it's completely free to do. Now this is of course for the reservation, and the actual pre-orders are going to open on the 1st of February and reportedly run until the 16th. And instead of giving away free gifts, Samsung are going to be giving away more storage. According to many reports, the pre-order deal for most regions is going to be a storage upgrade, so if you buy the 512GB version of the S23, you'll pay the price of the 256GB model, and this renders the base models pretty much useless during the pre-order stages. Next up, we've got the pricing leak for India, and while prices are not directly comparable between regions, every region is telling the same story. When looking at the Indian prices, it's $100 to $150 more for the S23 Ultra base model, and this was pretty much the same for Germany as well as the Australian price leaks, so expect this increase at whatever region you're in. Interestingly, Ice Universe also confirms that the standard S23 with only 128GB of storage is actually UFS 3.1 and not UFS 4. Now the reason for this is actually as simple as Samsung is not producing the 128GB chips for UFS 4. Now this may sound disappointing for those of you interested in the standard S23, but to be fair, UFS 3.1 already offers fast enough storage speeds, so in real world use you're really not going to notice. Now next up, we've got more promotional images and teaser videos leaked for the whole Galaxy S23 series, and the focus is clearly on the cameras. We've got the new 200MP primary camera, which is looking like it's taking some great photos, but through all of the marketing images and videos, it seems night photography is the biggest focus. The previous night samples show us some great improvements in low light conditions, and it appears that Samsung are really pushing the night mode, the astrophotography, the nighttime selfies and more. The new 12MP sensor for the selfies is probably the main improvement for these nighttime selfies, and it's great to see Samsung moving away from that megapixel marketing for the front. Edward Jabina has been sharing most of the hands-on and camera samples for the S23, and unfortunately it appears that Samsung has taken down his Twitter for doing so. While this is bad news, it does pretty much confirm that the information and samples that he was giving must have been correct. With all the hands-on videos appearing now, we can be pretty sure that this one is in fact the real S23 Ultra. Now the packaging for the Galaxy S23 has surprised me a little bit, and it does look somewhat disappointing, but at the end of the day it is what it is. While the device looks quite similar to the predecessor, we have to remember that we've now got Gorilla Glass Victus 2 protection, the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 on all models, as well as camera, software and speaker upgrades. While it's not so obvious this time around in terms of looks, there are still plenty of upgrades there. Now of course it's probably not worth upgrading from the S22 Ultra, but for those of you looking for a new phone, then the S23 is going to be a great choice. Now with launch only a day away, it's not long until we get the full information from Samsung themselves, and I really hope there are still some surprises at launch, but make sure you subscribe so you don't miss a thing in the future.